What is it about England and Iceland that seems to suck the life out of me? That was pretty shit, wasn't it? What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we need to talk about England. The so-called favourites heading into Euro 2024, and although they're not my favourites because I have done a video recently going through my prediction for Euro 2024 using the Telegraph's Euro 2024 predictor, so check that out if you haven't already, see who I had to win the Euros. But I've not been sold on England being the favourites at all. I think we are definitely in the top 3, top 4. I think you've got probably France, England, Spain, Germany, Portugal, probably as the top 5. But heading into this tournament, we are definitely not heading into it as a team, as a side that looks like we are favourites. I think we're favourites on paper and paper alone, because form going in to this tournament is not great. We've just come off the back of a diabolical 1-0 defeat to Iceland, and although this might be seen as recency bias, you can go back to November of last year, to which England's form has not been great. We've only won 2 of our last 5 games. They were against Bosnia and against Malta. They were the only 2 games to which we've kept a clean sheet from our last 7, and I think just from the eye test, as much as you can look at stats, the eye test I think also tells a much worse story. Obviously, we lost to Brazil, we scraped a draw against Belgium, and we only really got going against Bosnia in the second half when Cole Palmer scored that penalty. So there is not much momentum or form heading into this tournament, and I feel like you need a degree of that, because although the group stage should be a formality for England, you don't want to be slipping up. You don't want to have a 1-0 like this in your opening game, because it instantly piles the pressure on. You've got to get that opening game out the way. You've got to get it won no matter what, because the pressure can ramp up from out of absolutely nowhere. And although, England might end up having 3 group games that allow them to warm up into the tournament a little bit, everything we're seeing so far suggests that whenever we come up against a team with a low block, a team who are going to sit back and defend, we struggle. I don't think we tested the goalkeeper at all against Iceland. We struggled against Bosnia. We were slow, we were insipid, we were lethargic. We seem like, even with all the amazing attacking talent we have, we're still struggling to break teams down, and that is the exact approach a lot of teams will take, especially in the group stages against England. They're going to sit back, they're going to soak up the pressure. I think Iceland have just showed the exact template on how to beat this England team. You get a goal early on, and then you just sit back and defend for your lives, and England won't really lay much of a glove on you. Now, yes, in the Iceland game we did miss a few big chances. That is being said, and there's nothing to suggest we would miss them sort of chances in another game. Kane missed a sitter we probably never usually would miss. There were another couple of nearly moments, you could say, but it's a concern for me that I think going forward, which is definitely by far our strongest part of our team, we still seem to be struggling a little bit. And it's not like, well, we've got a good foundation to sit back on regardless, because I think the defence looks very, very shaky for England. I don't think we look very reassuring at the back at all. You know, a couple of times it didn't take much for Iceland to get through us, to get in behind us, to break the offside trap, to get a few shots at goal. It seemed like we had to work ultra hard and play 100 passes before we even mustered half a chance, and yet the opposition were able to get shots on target and get clear attempts in and around our box with relative ease. And I just look at the back line and I just don't think it inspires me with much confidence. Now, we will probably make another video before the start of the tournament, and I will probably pick my starting 11 for the opening game, but I think defensively it's not a defence that stands out as solid, reliable, experienced. I think, yeah, you might have Kyle Walker on one side and Trippier at the other. Maybe John Stones is the standout, but I think genuinely Harry Maguire is quite an omission and quite a disappointing one, because although you can mock his performances for Manchester United, I feel like he's always stood up and performed well for England, and despite the lack of pace, I think he is a very safe pair of hands in that centre-back pairing. I think when you've got Gahey or Konsa or Lewis Dunk, they're good centre-backs, but I wouldn't say they're top-level centre-backs at all, and even with Trippier and Walker, I still think there's defensive fragility there, so I feel like teams will get chances against this England team, and you can win a tournament with a slightly substandard attack but a very good defence. We've seen that in the past. Italy weren't the best attacking team when they won it in 2020, but they had a fantastic defence. You think back to when Greece won it in 2004, even Portugal, who won it in 2016. They weren't prolific going forward. I'm sure they had a spell where they didn't score or they didn't win a certain amount of games in normal time. So I feel like you've got more of a chance of winning and progressing in this tournament if you have a really strong foundation and a really strong rearguard. I do not think we've got that. Now, obviously, everywhere else, we're pretty stacked. You know, we've omitted some incredible players because the depth of our midfield and striker force is that strong. And you look at the front line, it shouldn't have any problem, really, scoring goals if we can get the chances. You've got the best striker in the world. You've got probably the best midfielder in the world in Bellingham. You've got one of the best wingers / attackers in Foden. So maybe one positive is that if we do get through to the latter stages and we play sides that do play a more attacking game, there might be space for us. There might be an opportunity there for us to exploit that against a more attacking, open-minded team. That might be where we get our most joy. But at the same time, how many goals might we concede at the other end against a Spain, against a France, against a Portugal, whoever? I just don't feel reassured by this England team. And although an open game might suit us, I'm not comfortable with our defence. And against a low block, I'm not confident against a side who are going to defend for large parts that we can break them down and get through. So I hope to God we can switch it on and click, but there's just not enough elements to this England team that I can sit back and hang my hat on that I know are going to deliver. And that's a concern. I feel like I said in my prediction video, for me, England are favourites on simply the players on paper and what ifs. You know, we've never proven on a big stage that we can deliver. Teams like France and Spain have. They're serial winners. Even Germany, although it was a little while ago now. But England, every time we've gotten to that final little stage where we need to go that one step further for glory, whether it's the final of Euro 2020, whether it's the World Cup quarter-final against France or the World Cup semi-final against Croatia, when it gets to the big moments, we've still not proven we've got what it takes to beat the teams that we need to beat. The other teams have. They're proven winners, and that's again why I think all the optimism around England is based on what ifs, and it's all based on hope. It's not based on actual evidence we can back up. And now we don't really even have form to use as an excuse to be optimistic. So I'm a bit worried. Not worried that we're going to crash out the group stages and do a Euro 2016 or anything, but I'm concerned that this big hype, this momentum, this hype train heading in, that it's ours to lose. If we don't win it, it's a failure, which still might be the case on paper. We do not strike me as a side that looks like favourites at all. So fingers crossed Southgate can find the formula to get this team breaking down the opposition and we can maybe look a bit more solid at the back. But as it stands right now, we do not look like favourites for Euro 2024, and I'd be intrigued to see what you guys think in the comment section below. So leave me a comment below what you think. Do you think we're rightful favourites, or do you have your scepticisms around this England team as well, or do you think it'll click and once we get moving in the tournament we will start to take it by storm? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video, hit a like on the video. It really helps support the channel. Subscribe as well, because we'll be bringing you guys lots of cool England-related content throughout the tournament, which hopefully will last pretty much the full month, we'd like to hope. But until next time, guys, do take care. Big thank you for watching. See you all in the next one.